Chaturhotram Karma Suddham Prajanam Bhiksha Vaidikam Vedadhat Jagya Santatai Santatvai Vedam Ekam Chaturvidham. Chaturhotram Karma Suddham Prajanam Bhiksha Vaidikam Vedadhat Jagga Santatvai Vedamekam Chaturvidham. Chaturhotram Karma Suddham Prajanam Bhiksha Vaidikam Vedadhat Jagga Santatvai Vedamekam Chaturvidham. Chaturhotram Karma Suddham Prajanam Bhiksha Vaidikam Vedadhat Jagga Santatvai Vedamekam Chaturvidham. Chaturu, four. Hotram, sacrificial fires. Karma Suddham, purification of work. Prajanam, of the people in general. Bhiksha, after seeing. Vaidikam, according to Vedic rites. Vyadadhat, made into. Yagya, sacrifice. Santattai, to expand. Vedamekam, only one Veda. Chaturvidham, in four divisions. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupations could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into four in order to expand them among men. Please repeat after me. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupations could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into four in order to expand them among men. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Formerly there was only the Veda of the name Jajur, and the four divisions of sacrifices were there specifically mentioned. But to make them more easily performable, the Veda was divided into four divisions of sacrifice, just to purify the occupational service of the four orders. Above the four Vedas, namely Rig, Jajur, Sham and Atharva, there are the Puranas, Mahabharata, Samhitas, etc., which are known as the fifth Veda. Sri Vyasdeva and his many disciples were all historical personalities, and they are very kind and sympathetic towards the fallen souls of this age of Kali. As such, the Puranas and Mahabharata are made from related historical facts which explained the teachings of the four Vedas. There is no point in doubting the authority of the Puranas and Mahabharata as parts and parcels of the Vedas. In the Chandogya Upanishad, in Chandogya Upanishad 7.1.4, the Puranas and Mahabharata, generally known as histories, are mentioned as the fifth Veda. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, that is the way to ascertaining the respective values of the revealed scriptures. Chatur hutrang karma suddham prajanang viksha vaidikam vedadhad jagga santattai vedam ekam chaturvidham. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupations could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. So who is that he? He saw. Who is that he? Who knows? Raise your hands. Who is this he? I'm not asking you, I'm asking the question. Who knows? Raise your hands. You don't know? So why don't you raise your hands? What about you? What about you? What about you, Dula?
I don't know.
You don't know. You're not attending class? Class আসছো না? তাহলে ক্লাসে বুঝছো না কি হচ্ছে? হ্যাঁ? কি আলোচনা হচ্ছে বুঝছো না? ইন্দ্রিয়েশ?
ক্লাসে আসুন প্রভাতের ক্লাস।
হ্যাঁ?
প্রভাতের ক্লাসে রামনাথ চালে সব শুনতে।
Who? So you knew. Why didn't you raise your hand? Huh? Neha? So why didn't you raise your hand?
I didn't know.
Okay. Your not knowing is genuine. Okay. But you're attending the classes.
Indeed.
So whose discussion is going on? The classes are discussing?
Well, I don't know. I kind of came into the middle of it, so I'm not really quite sure.
Okay, this is the 19th verse of this chapter, and the text 16 very clearly mentions the great sage Vasudev saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different ages due to unseen forces in the course of time. Okay, another thing probably that every day you are not consulting, having the class from Srimad Bhagavatam, you're listening to Prabhupada's tapes. Yeah. Huh?
Sometimes, like when you are not here.
Like yesterday was what happened?
Prabhupada class.
Day before yesterday. Day before yesterday.
Mohan Murali.
Okay. Okay, now if I ask you, how many of you know who is Vasudev? Raise your hands. Indriya, do you understand what I'm asking? What did I ask?
ব্যাসদেবকে সেটা জানি।
Tell it. Do you know who is Vasudev? Then why didn't you raise your hand?
আমি আমি ছোট।
Oh, হাত উঠিয়েছি। Hand was covered by his head.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the great sage Veda,
Vedas, yeah,
Veda
Vasudev.
Veds, this is who wrote this is who wrote the first Veda, or who divided them?
No, Vedas were given by Krishna. Vedas mean knowledge. Vedas mean knowledge. And not just the knowledge of this world, but the knowledge about the other world. So is there another world beyond this world?
Yes.
Yes. So how can you have knowledge about that? Can you go there? Have you gone there?
I have not.
Have you seen?
Not that I'm aware.
Not that you are aware. So actually nobody can know. Say for example, before Columbus came to America, did people know about America?
Well, sure, the people that were here.
No, I'm talking about people, those who are in other places, say in Europe.
No, I mean not before the Vikings came.
The Vikings also didn't come and speak about America. Is it Columbus? Not even Columbus, it was Amerigo Vespucci, who actually, Columbus thought he came to India. when Columbus came to America, he thought that he arrived in India because he went out in search of India. So when he found the land, he thought he came to India. But that's why the early Americans, the Americans were known as Indians, Red Indians, American Indians. Because Columbus thought that he discovered India. But it was afterwards another explorer, another sailor actually, he came and recognized that no, this is not India. And after his name, this country was known as America. His name was Amerigo Vespucci. I think he was Portuguese or Spanish. Amerigo Vespucci, I think he was Spanish. And how many of you knew this history of America? This history of America? You didn't know that? We didn't know how America got the name America? No? Okay.
Columbus.
So even in Bhagavatam class you get to know. So anyway, so people didn't know. Why? Because no one gave the information about this land, right? They didn't know because they didn't come here. So similarly, there is another world, at least America, one can come to and see that this land is there. But there is another land which is beyond this material world. Now, where are we? We have become limited to this material world, isn't it? We can travel only in this material world. We can see only the material things. We can hear only the material sound. So when we become limited by our material sense perception, how can we perceive something that is beyond material world? So what's the way we can get it? How can we get the information about that world? If someone from that world speaks about that world, now at the beginning of creation, who was there? At the time of creation, who was there? Brahma. He's the first person in the universe. So he was the first person, he was alone and he didn't. So how could he get this knowledge about that world? That's why Krishna gave him the knowledge. Now Brahma also couldn't see Krishna. Because with material eyes, can you see Krishna? With material eyes, you can't even see matter. What we can see is only earth, water, fire. Right? Solid, liquid, and fire. Even though there are gross matter like air, can you see air?
Sometimes.
But you can feel it when it blows. And sometimes, and beyond air is ether. No way we can understand ether. It's beyond our sense perception. And then beyond that is mind. Mind is mind matter or not? Is mind matter? And can you see mind? Do you have mind? Although we know that we have mind, but we can't see it. But we can feel its presence. Right? When you think, how do we think? Do you have intelligence? I know you have a lot of it. Can you see it? Then beyond that is false ego. So we can see even matter we cannot perceive. So what to speak of that is beyond matter? Like, you have a soul? Can you see it? No. So now, things that we do not know, but if we want to know, what is the way to know? What is the way to know?
Finding out from somebody that does.
Very good. Find out from somebody who knows. So, say for example, did you know ABCD, alphabet, English alphabet? Did you know? Now you know, but did you know at the beginning? From your birth? How did you learn ABCD?
Somebody taught us.
Somebody who knew, he taught you. So, way to receive knowledge or information is by receiving it from somebody who has it. Now, who in the beginning, Brahma didn't have the knowledge. But Brahma couldn't see Krishna. So then how did Krishna give the knowledge to him? He gave the knowledge from within his heart. And actually spiritual knowledge, can you see the spiritual knowledge? Can you see the spiritual world? No. Then how to get the knowledge about the spiritual world? You cannot receive it with your eyes, ears. The only thing we can receive spiritual, we can see the spiritual world. The only way to see the spiritual world is through our ears. Through our ears we see the spiritual world. That is, when you receive the information about the spiritual world, you get to know about the spiritual world. For example, when you are in India, did you get to know about America?
Yes.
Right? You got to know about America when you were in India. Right? And how did you get to know about America? By hearing or by reading. Actually, reading and hearing is same. Reading is also a kind of hearing. So when you read about America, then could you see America? In your mind, couldn't you see America? Maybe not as clearly as it is today, but you got a picture of America. So that's a kind of seeing. By hearing, you see. And then, similarly, by hearing, we can see the spiritual world. So how do we hear? What do we hear? From whom we hear? We hear from the scriptures, the descriptions of the scriptures. And therefore the scriptures are considered the eyes. So the spiritual world is seen through the eyes of the scriptures. So that is how we get to see the spiritual world. Now the information of the spiritual worlds are in the scriptures, and the scriptures are the Vedas, meaning the books of knowledge about the spiritual world. It's not that the Vedas are Hindu scriptures and the other religions have their scriptures. No. It's all one scripture, information of the spiritual world. But the Vedas are most authentic because they have been recorded in a very, very systematic way. Like the trouble actually starts by ordinary people when they hear something and then they present something, it may get distorted. But the Vedas are not presented by ordinary people. First of all, the Vedas were given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then those who understood the Vedas and presented the Vedas, they all were self-realized souls. Brahma became self-realized by receiving the knowledge. Then he gave this knowledge to his son, Narada Muni. And by receiving the knowledge properly, he became self-realized. So this is how there's uniqueness about the Vedic wisdom, that it is flowing through a group of self-realized souls, not ordinary living entities. Whereas other scriptures could get distorted due to the conditioning of the presenter. So, so that's the difference. And anyway, so now who is Vasudev? Vasudev is the literary incarnation of the Lord. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in this world to accomplish some mission. And that appearance is called incarnation or avatar. And the Lord descends with a specific purpose. So as Vasudev, he came with a specific purpose of distributing this knowledge to the living entities of the age of Kali. Living entities in the age of Kali are very unintelligent, weak, and useless. No matter how proud we may feel that we are so capable, but actually we are very, very incapable. Because our memory is very short. In the other ages, they could hear and remember. The memory was so sharp. Now, is it unbelievable that they had a memory like that? Like, if a tape recorder can hear and remember, why can't a human being? But in the age of Kali, the taping head has become rusted. That's why it cannot record properly. They hear, store in the memory. The memory is meant for storing. But if the thing doesn't really go into the memory and the memory is not able to retain it, why does the memory fail? Because of our fickle-mindedness. Our mind cannot stay at one place. It moves. Due to that, more fickle the mind, less is the ability to remember, isn't it? Those who listen attentively, they can remember. Those who are inattentive means not focused. Mind is going from here to there and everywhere. Therefore, it's impossible for them to remember. So, in those age, the memory was very sharp. And as a result of that, they could retain everything that they heard. Especially the Brahmanas. Their memory was very sharp. But in the age of Kali, they lost that ability. Therefore, Krishna came and gave them as Vasudev, he simplified it. Previously there was only one Veda. There was one store of knowledge. Now, if the person is not very capable, if his memory is not so sharp, can he retain everything? So when he can't retain everything, then what do? We give them in portions. So that's what he did. The Vedas were divided into 4 parts. And then there were secondary or subservient portions, like Upanishads, Puranas, Itihash, Mahabharata. So this is how the Vedic knowledge had been simplified. Vedic knowledge made easy. Made easy, simplified. So that is what is being presented here. Vasudev simplified the Vedic knowledge by dividing the Vedas into 4. For what? Because if people do not have Vedic knowledge, if people do not recognize that one should act for the pleasure of Krishna, then there will be chaos. People will become misled. People will act in an inappropriate way, and as a result of that, there will be total chaos in the society. Therefore, it's important to have the Vedic knowledge. Like we can see, a simple consideration. If you know that someone is watching you, will you act in a wrongful way? If you know that someone is watching you and according to your action, he will give you the result of your action, will you act in a wrong way? Will you dare to act in a wrong way? If you know that you are going to be caught and punished. So Vedas are actually giving us at least that understanding. Krishna is Krishna is seeing us. And not only Krishna, the demigods are seeing us. How we are acting. And according to our actions, they will give the results. So automatically people become careful. Therefore, initial stage is God-fearing. People are afraid of God. People are afraid because they know that, oh, he is watching and he'll punish me. But he'll punish me if I act in a wrong way. Why should he punish me if I act in a right way? So when you realize that, then we stop being God-fearing, we stop fearing God. But gradually, when we realize that how he is taking care of us, then we become God-loving. So the ultimate consideration is to love him, not be afraid of him. So the higher understanding is being presented in this way. Look, he's taking care of you so nicely. Suridang sarva bhutanam, he is your dearest friend. Are you afraid of your friend? No. Because your friend is a friend in need, is a friend indeed. If you need something, go and ask your friend. You need something, ask Krishna. First you ask, then you see that even without asking, Krishna is giving you so much. We may pray to Krishna, oh Krishna, give us our daily bread. But did we ever pray to Krishna, Krishna, give us our drinking water? Did anybody pray that way? No. Even without our asking, Krishna is giving us our water. Did you ever pray to Krishna, Krishna, give us some oxygen to breathe? Without even asking, Krishna is giving us oxygen. So this is how we see that we don't need to ask Krishna for anything. He will take care. He will give me whatever I need. He knows what I need. Does the child have to figure out what he needs, or his parents figure out what he needs? So similarly, Krishna knows what we need, and accordingly he treats us, provided we surrender unto him. If we don't surrender, then Krishna is okay. You are on your own. But still I'll give you food to eat. Still I'll give you oxygen to breathe. Still I'll give you a place to stay. Still I'll give you the sun rays, the sunlight and everything. Even though you don't accept me, I'll give it to you. So this is how Krishna is providing for everyone, whether we accept. But those who surrender to Krishna, Krishna becomes specially concerned about them. Krishna treats them in a very special way. And that is how the loving relationship develops. Oh, Krishna, you are doing all this for me because you love me. You love me, but Krishna, I fail to love you. So now I'm going to love you. And then Krishna becomes so happy. And then you express your love for Krishna. Krishna, then you see how Krishna is reciprocating. Krishna is taking care of you in all respects. Then your love intensifies. So this is how our loving relationship with him becomes more and more intense, more and more deep. And that's the process that we come across, that we find out from the Vedic scriptures. That's the purpose of Veda. If we didn't have Veda, if Prabhupada didn't give us the Vedic wisdom, could we be here and have this understanding of Krishna? Could we ever think of surrendering to Krishna? No. We couldn't. And what would have been our life like? I don't know what your life, but I know what would have happened to me. I can't even, I tremble in fear even to think of it. What could have happened? But now what happened? Don't they have a wonderful life? The other day I had breakfast with a very rich person. He is one of the richest Indians, lives in London. And we were discussing about what is the ultimate need. And, everyone agreed that we want to be happy. And then he himself started to say that money cannot give you happiness. And actually they had some problem in the life. His elder brother has become affected by some sort of brain disease where his head is not working properly. I forgot the name of that. And see, he's one of the richest men, but see now, he can't even think. So this is how you can see, you may have all the money in this world, but you can be miserable. Now isn't he considering that, a person who has a steady mind is more happy than I am? He may not have much money, but he's more happy than I am. So this is how we actually had a very nice discussion that way, and we could very clearly see that that happiness is not dependent upon any material thing. And in the ultimate sense, we also don't want just happiness. We want ananda. Happiness is a material consideration. What's the definition of happiness? I mentioned that many times. Yes?
Happiness is fulfillment of our desires.
Okay, very good.
Cessation of pain.
Cessation of pain, cessation of suffering. We are in a suffering condition, but when the suffering is reduced or gone away, then we say we are happy. So it is not completely spiritual. It is material, the cessation of suffering. We are in a suffering condition. When there is no suffering, we are happy. But joy is completely opposite to suffering condition. Opposite to suffering. Like, for example, opposite means what? Like if suffering is darkness, joy is light. Now, somehow we can remove the suffering condition temporarily, but not permanently in this material world. Material world, consider material world is a world of darkness. And if you're in a dark room, you can light a candle or a lamp. So, darkness will be removed, but will the candle burn forever? Will candle be able to give the light all the time? No. At some point, the candle will be extinguished and then darkness will prevail. So in material nature, our endeavor for happiness is like lighting a lamp and removing the darkness. Now, if you go out of this dark room and come into the broad daylight, will there be any darkness? Will you need a candle to light up? No. So joy is, in this way, the diametrically opposite situation to happiness. I mean, diametrically opposite situation to darkness, suffering. So there is a world. This is the world of suffering. There is a world of joy. And that is the world we are aspiring to go to. Anandamaya. Blissful, joyful situation. Now we got the information about that world, so what should we do? Should we disregard those information and say, okay, I'm fine here? Should we do that? Or should we try to go there? We should try to get out of this suffering condition and go to that world. Okay, so please keep trying. Move towards that world. And if we move, if we surrender to Krishna and if we depend upon his arrangement, we will end up there someday. We'll find ourselves. All we have to do is just surrender to Krishna and depend upon his divine arrangement. And as long as we are here, we chant and dance, have feast of Krishna Prasad, and render devotional service. All right? Nice process. Or do you want to go back to the material nature? Are you all happy being here?
Yes.
Kara? Kara is vehemently shaking her head. Thank you. Neha, how do you find it here? Of course, you have been a devotee since your childhood. But being here, making you happier?
Very nice.
You feeling blissful? Okay. Very good. Indriyesh, are you happy here? Okay. Is everyone happy here? Or are you going to work too hard? You have to work too hard. Once somebody wrote to me that he wanted to come here. So I said, look, here our situation, living condition is not very good, because you can see it's an early stage and everybody will have to work very hard. And then he wrote back, he has some service in his temple, so he can come. So that's the test. Like, if you want to come here, you have to be prepared for the situation. But those who are here, they'll enjoy. Like, living condition may be difficult, but I don't think it's that difficult. At least now we are making so many arrangements. Although I may have to pay a big fine to the city authority for doing things without proper permission. But anyway, we have done it for Krishna and his devotees. Let's see. And Kara, how do you feel here?
I'm very happy.
Very happy. Thank you.